Hey guys, welcome to episode 02 of The Great Minds. Today we are sitting here with Asanda, also known as Coach Asanda, which is a business coach. Hi Asanda, how are you?
Hi Kizito, I'm well and yourself.
Great. Welcome to The Great Minds.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. So The Great Mind for me is all about telling the hard story. You know, the struggle that we have as entrepreneur or as professionals to get to the success part of their journey. And the thing is, most stories that are out there are usually glorifying stories about the lavish life, never talking about the struggle, the hard work. I want you to tell our viewers the journey, the hard journey, the difficult moments, those moments that people don't know. People only see, oh, she's driving a nice car or she's enjoying life without knowing that it was sweat and tears that usually goes through this. So just introduce yourself to our audience, who you are, what you do currently, and then we can continue like that.
Thank you for the opportunity, Kizito. I think for me, the most important thing that every individual needs to understand is there's always a starting point.
Correct.
And for a lot of us, the starting point is not always a great starting point. I grew up in a township called Phosphorus in the East Rand, raised by a single mother. And back then, I was born in the early 80s. Back then, we did not have abundance at home. And
limited resources.
Yes, we had limited resources, and having to depend on one parent was a challenge. It taught me a lot about understanding scarcity. It taught me a lot about knowing that when there is something, you need to use it well so that it lasts.
Of course.
Yeah. So I remember very well during my school years, where there were things I couldn't do that other kids could do. There were times when we needed to wear CV's day, when this is casual clothes at school, and I just thought, how do I even ask my mother? And for me, the joy of it all, looking back now, is she always made a plan. But being the child I always was cognizant of not always asking her. So there were certain things that I didn't go to ask her because I knew she would hustle, I knew she would make a plan. But that meant her spending less time at home. That meant me feeling like I need to protect this because this is my mom's last money, So it wasn't a poor home.
Mm-hmm.
I still had
the basics.
But
from a young age, it means you already had that mindset where you could also read from your parents and see that things were not that great. So you kind of restricted yourself from just asking, too much.
Yes, true. And for me, though, what that did is it opened up my imagination because I lived in my head a lot. I'm a dreamer. People who know me will tell you I love dreaming. I love good things. I love seeing myself achieving great things. And I remember when I think I was still in primary school, I loved Cheryl Carolus. Back then she was in politics or business/politics. But for me, yes. For me, what that meant, looking at her, was I could be that, And the one thing I'm grateful for, though, in everything, although I lacked in a lot of things, my mother did not sacrifice my education. She took me to a private school, believe it or not.
And that was, I think it was pre-apartheid.
This was post-apartheid.
Okay.
Yes, post-apartheid. It was a different kind of private school, though, so not the super expensive ones we have.
Yeah.
So this was a very special private school that was set for kids from previously disadvantaged backgrounds. Yes. But the quality of education was excellent. I went there from grade 2 and I completed my matric there at St. Francis College in Benoni.
Wow, St. Francis. I actually studied in St. Francis in Cameroon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. St. Francis has a good reputation.
Yeah.
But so for me, my schooling career was normal. I was an A student.
A student.
Yes.
Also, you're the one working with the.
Yes, yes. Until I think I got about to standard 9, which is now what, grade 11.
Okay.
Yes, where, peer pressure, you start thinking you know it all, your marks start going down, Yes, yes. But at the back of your mind, you always know I need to work hard.
Yeah.
If I'm to get to where I want to go, I need to work hard. And that school, what it's taught me is what you put in is what you get out of it. What you put in is what you get out. I was one of 2 top students in matric. From the school when we left the school, and I got accepted at Rhodes University towards studying a Bachelor of Journalism and Media Studies. And again, my university years again were about hard work, because if you know Rhodes well, you would know that it is the #1 journalism school in Africa.
Wow.
So what that means is the number of people who want to get in.
The competition is hard.
Precisely.
And just to come back quickly to what you said, what you put in is what you get out.
Yes.
So the hard work that you were putting in it was targeted to what you wanted to go, to the direction where you really wanted to achieve your goals, So I think people should understand that it's all about your effort, your hard work, will automatically bring you back to that result. Yeah.
Of course, nothing comes easy.
Yes.
Really, really. And for me, also putting in effort when you don't have a concrete goal that you're working towards is also useless.
Yes.
So you need to know where you want to go, and you need to make sure you give it your all.
So giving yourself targets.
Yes, you have to.
But as a young person, how do you give yourself targets? Because usually it's quite complex. I don't know.
I think for me it was circumstantial targets,
Okay.
where I said I loved my community, but I did not see myself staying there long.
Okay.
I really did not see myself staying there long. You're surrounded by young girls who fall pregnant. The environment was just not conducive.
So the environment was that trigger that pushed you to have a target to say, no, I need to get out of this place, and eventually it made you put in the work to pull you out of the community.
Because if I didn't work hard, it would have meant what? I don't pass matric, I stay at home. And I could have been one of those people who had a baby early, there's no future. So it really was for me, work hard to make sure you get out of here and build a better life for yourself.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the journey of college. College.
University, like I was saying, it was very competitive. Extremely, extremely competitive. Because the number of people who wanted to study journalism was just huge. And not only that, getting into your area of specialization was also competitive. So you find, in first year you all go into mainstream, second year, and then in third year you have the opportunity to specialize. And guess what? Everyone else wanted to specialize in. We all wanted television.
Television?
Yes. So that meant the stakes were high to get into television. So I was always kept on my toes, The numbers were limited. They could only take a certain number of students.
Wow.
And if they didn't take you, you had to convert your degree to a bachelor's, like a BA something.
Okay.
So you wouldn't graduate with a Bachelor of Journalism, which is a 4-year
so then it changes completely your career.
Yes. And everyone who went in there wanted to graduate with a Bachelor of Journalism.
But why journalism? What was it?
It was an interesting choice. It was an interesting choice, which my mom still reminds me to this day. I actually wanted to be a stockbroker growing up.
Okay.
Strangely enough, I was very good at math and accounting. And I was sure I was going to study Bachelor of Accountancy. And then in grade 12, early grade 12, when, the moment where you have people from different varsities coming to schools to tell you about
their journey.
Yes, the different, also the courses that they have and what it's like. A lady came from Rhodes in Grahamstown. She was wearing these khaki shorts and these long socks. And she just looked so chilled and yet so educated, And she was telling us about how journalism is the thing to go and this, and I was sold.
Oh my word.
I got home that day, I told my mom, forget Bachelor of Accountancy, I'm going to be a journalist.
Awesome.
She lost her mind, literally lost her mind.
So she was already seeing you as an accountant.
Because she said, are you going to be sitting outside courts and running after people to get stories? Because that's what people think when they think of journalists. needless to say, I convinced her otherwise, and yeah, I did my journalism, and I got into television, and I graduated with a Bachelor of Journalism in 2005.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's interesting. And during that journey, what are those moments where you really felt like you needed to prove yourself, you needed to double effort? Because I guess with that amount of competition around your area, it wasn't just you sleeping or you chilling. There must be sacrifice that you had to do and things that you had to go through. Anything you recall, anything you remember, any
I think
moment?
for me, the biggest challenge that I faced in university, I was always quite conservative. I wasn't the talkative type. I mean, I was talkative to friends,
Yeah.
but I wasn't the party person who always loved noise and stuff. So I made friends. I mean, I made a group of friends. We were close-knit group of friends, and we partied together. We had fun together. But I was always cognizant of where I came from, you know, because, you know, when it came to pocket money and that kind of thing, I didn't have access. So there were moments at school where I had to do without, again, at university, just to make sure that it lasted. There were moments when I couldn't go home during school holidays because a bus trip from Grahamstown to Johannesburg was a lot of money. So it was just working around those parameters and understanding that this is just a means to an end. You're passing, but in order to pass, you need to make sure you work hard and you actually leave in record time. Because that for me was the biggest thing. I couldn't spend more than 4 years.
4 years at university.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So after your bachelor, what did you go straight to work, or what did you do?
Yes, after varsity, I was fortunate enough to find work quite immediately after finishing my studies, and I joined one of the most reputable, let's say, television production
And that was
companies.
SABC?
I know, it was Curious Pictures.
Oh, okay.
Curious Pictures. So it's a production house that makes.
Oh, production house.
Yes,
Oh,
production
okay.
house. And I went in there as an intern. So I spent 3 months there as an intern. And just before my internship ended, the MD called me in and said, "Would you be keen to stay on?" Said, "Yes, I would, but on an intern salary, it's too low." You know? And I respect that man, and he was very fair and said, if you prove yourself in the next 3 months, I will increase your salary. I'll increase it now, and in the next 3 months you'll get another increase because I also want you to have a car because you need a car for this job.
Yeah.
But then what really struck me was this man didn't do that just because I was sitting and playing at work.
Of course. Yeah.
I showed initiative. I really pushed. I really was contributing. I gave my best.
Yeah.
And I think had I not, after the 3 months, it would have been thank you very much, then go.
I mean, you mean after 3 months you'll be just like any other if you were just in there chilling, because most people when they probably get a job, they'll probably come to work and then sit down and then expect that they'll tell them everything. If you don't take initiative, you don't sacrifice, if you don't work longer hours, probably people wouldn't recognize you.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I think that is usually the key. Is how do you differentiate yourself in a specific moment, in a specific area, so that at the end of the day, someone recognizes you. And I think that's what happened with you at that level. Okay, and then the journey, I'm sure it keeps continuing.
Yes, after that, I decided after a year in television that it was not for me.
That was quick.
It was very quick. It was very quick. The environment, it was a great environment, but the industry was not for me.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to realize that early on.
Very important.
Yes, the hours were very strenuous. The dealings were not my kind of thing.
Okay.
Let me just put it like that.
Alright.
It was just not something that I was keen on. I was keen on moving more towards corporate.
Okay.
So I wanted to do more communications work, and I looked for another opportunity. And it so happened that at that time, my then, because my husband now, but was my boyfriend then, he was moving down to Pretoria.
Okay.
So I wanted to also be closer to him. So I found a job in Pretoria, working as a communications person in Africa and the Middle East. So I was responsible for the Africa strategy on communications and marketing.
Okay.
And I spent a couple of years there. And my next role again was in the same role in communications and marketing. And then in 2010, I decided enough communications. I want something new. I want to add, yes, I want to vary. And I've always been ambitious. I've always seen myself as achieving big things. And for me, big things was clearly defined as being in business or being in an influential position.
Yeah.
And I knew my Bachelor of Journalism was not going to get me there. So I wanted to do a course in business, which is why then I enrolled in the MBA, which is why I decided to do the MBA. Yeah, and I moved to China in 2010.
Oh boy.
Yes, and yeah, here I am. I came back in 2015. I'm here with you today.
Now you move from the corporate to your business now, because now you have your own business. I'm sure that movement wasn't that easy, because I know most of my friends that are in corporate are so scared to move into business. How did you do that? How did you get that transition?
For me, it was a long time coming.
Okay.
It was really one of those, and I was fortunate enough that I had the opportunity to go accompany my husband, who was on a diplomatic posting in China, which meant that I couldn't officially work in China for those years. So for me, it made sense that I can start my own thing while I'm there. So it took 2 years to study, and then took 2 years to get around the idea of owning my own business.
So it wasn't a sudden thing.
No,
it was something
wasn't.
that you started preparing gradually,
yes.
preparing your mindset.
It was first preparing the mindset. It
mindset.
was getting ready. And as I was getting along, and then in 2013, I realized where I had advanced to and where my dreams were going, there was no company that could give me the kind of role that I was looking for. Because I could not be boxed in one role to say, this is what you do. I had this energy, and I had these ideas, and I'm legacy driven, I'm impact driven. So whatever I do, I want to make sure that it impacts the other person. And unfortunately, with companies, for me, I found is that your role tends to be very limited to a particular area where you cannot go beyond this.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's how it became a lot easier for me then to transition into owning my own business.
So I know that you also started your own business now. So I'm pretty sure that it's not that easy. I'm pretty sure that you're having sleepless night and things are just all over the place. But I'm also sure that you kind of climbing the hill. You're probably climbing the hill with all these difficult moments. So just tell us quickly more about that experience you're having now.
Yes, I am running my own business now, CB Talent. It's a talent development company, so we offer recruitment services, we offer coaching and training, as well as graduate work readiness programs. The journey has been both fulfilling and stressful, to say the least. It's one of those where you learn so much in a short space of time, and like, I learned all of this, or I can handle all of this stuff. It's been very challenging in the sense that not only do things not go your way, but sometimes you also disappoint yourself because you lose momentum. You know, there are moments when it gets too much, you know. And I think the disservice we do as people who are in business is not tell the true story, you know.
Just wanted to come back to the learning. I think when you say you learn quick, is you have no choice, because you have so much pressure that you are forced to actually learn on the way.
You have to. It's boot camp on another level, you know, because you have nothing else to fall back on.
Yeah.
You know, for me at least, that's because a job is not an option. I really do not want to go back to formal employment. So I have to make it work. So it means spending sleepless nights, you know, sometimes working through a proposal. It means sacrificing financially, you know. It means not doing the things you want to do now. So that instant gratification, I've learned, is not necessary, you know. I'm now more long-term focused, because when you expect cash to be in the bank account, Surprise, surprise. It doesn't count. You may have done the work, you submitted your invoice on time, but the other party is not playing ball, you know. So it hasn't been easy, but it's really been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life.
So even though you don't sleep properly, but still you feel that this was the direction you were happy to take.
Yes, yeah. No. This for me, like I said, I've grown. I'm seeing progress in the business. I'm creating employment. I'm having impact. That for me is important. And the day I stop doing that, the day my offering has no impact, the day I can't create employment, is the day I close shop. And I don't see that happening.
Awesome. But I think we should also mention that you're married and got kids.
Yes.
And that shouldn't, I'm sure that whole mixture is not even, doesn't make anything easy for you.
That adds a different dynamic. And to add, my husband is also
an
entrepreneur as well. So you can imagine.
So it's crazy as well.
Yes.
Alright, Asanda, that was awesome. Before we end, we usually go through a series of questions. So I'll ask you a question and then you give me an answer. So we start with what 3 pieces of advice would you give to a young kid out there?
About life in general.
About life in general, about what you've learned, your journey. What are those advice? Maybe not 3, but what advice would you give to someone who is out there? Maybe they want to start a business, or they're just starting life and they're looking for motivation. What would be that advice that you would give them?
I think, as cliche as it sounds, believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And the first way of achieving that is you need to really replay in your mind moments of success in your life. All of us have that one moment when we did something that surprised us. Even if it's that one thing that propels you to greatness, but really do believe in yourself, because all of us have it in us to make a success of our lives.
Awesome, I like that. And the second question would be, how long do you work, Penny? What is your working hours?
I don't keep regular working hours because like you said, I've got kids. So I usually start early in the morning. So I drop off the kids, I'd say about 7:30 I'm done. So my working hours are from 8 to about 3:30. And then I take a break from 4 until about 8:30. And then it's from 9.
That's long hours.
From 9 till whenever we need to get stuff done. I keep relatively long hours.
Okay. Yeah. So who was your greatest inspiration? Did someone inspire you? Did someone say something or did something that actually stir you into this direction? Or who really inspired you in life? Or maybe yourself?
My mother.
Your mother.
And it wasn't steering me into business or anything, but it was steering me into a life of fulfillment.
Okay.
She just used to drill it in me that in this life you need to be fulfilled, you need to be happy. And this makes me happy.
Oh, and then the next question was, what makes you happy?
Yeah. For me, I mean, my business makes me happy. And it's not the business, the operations, but doing something that I see where it's going is what makes me happy. My husband makes me happy. My kids make me happy. So I've got all these happy bubbles around me that keep me going.
Oh my word! So where will you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, in 10 years,
Mansion,
no, I'll be. By then, I would have made cover of Forbes magazine.
Awesome.
I would have built a massive financial. What's this? Not muscle, but massive financial resources. I would have my coaching school going.
Okay.
But all of that is underlined by legacy, impact. I will be impactful in everything I do, and I will leave a legacy.
Awesome, guys. You see, it's not easy. Here's Coach Asanda telling you her secrets, her hard stories. And thank you very much for listening to us again. And please do subscribe to the channel. I don't know where we're gonna put the subscription button. Maybe somewhere here. And come back for the next episode. Thank you so much. Cheers.